Backstage, the show where we sit down with local artists and international artists and find out what's going on in their lives and in their careers. On Channel 82, where Bermuda shines through.
Hi, I'm Mr. Magic and welcome to Backstage. My guest today is Miss Deidra Bean. She is the lady behind the scenes down at the Chew Stick Foundation. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. And basically, this is what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about you and Chew Stick and everything you're involved with and where Chew Stick is going. And, you know, we are promoting Chew Stick today.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I guess that's
and I know you're the
job.
person to talk about it. Yeah, you know, I mean, we already talked to Gavin. You know, we got the inside from Gavin, you know, in the early stages.
Okay.
And now you guys have moved down to Front Street. First of all, let's talk about that. How is the progress coming along down there?
Well, in the last couple of weeks, we started making a lot more like faster strides. So, you know, it was a little bit stalled. We're still in the midst of a capital campaign to fund the renovations, but we've had a couple of smaller scale, roughing it type sneak peek events. So the AC's in, probably going on about 2 weeks now.
Oh, you mean it's cool in there now?
Yeah,
right.
so it's not a sweatbox anymore, but it's still a bit dusty. So, you know, we're working through it. You know, we got the public space divided from the private space, and it's more, it's a little more cozy and a little more likely that people will be able to see the vision now.
Yeah.
Whereas before you had to have a broad imagination to see what it's going to be like.
Well, yeah, because I mean, a few times I had come by and seen
Yeah.
you guys. At one point, you had no ceiling.
Yeah.
Another point, there was no paint on the wall. You know, things like that. You know, and the bathrooms were getting refixed and everything else, and so that sounds great.
Yeah. So we're like, you know, we're moving towards full accessibility. The space is multiple levels, so that people with mobility challenges wouldn't be able to use the space without a conscious effort to, you know, put ramps in, level out the floors and stuff like that. So we're really passionate about making it a safe space.
Yeah, you don't want to have no slanted floors if somebody's there in the wheelchair and they start rolling through.
Well, yeah, not even that, but we want to make it a space where people can converge and meet people. You know, so we're always trying to break down barriers and bring people from different walks of life together. And so, you know, if there's a sector of the community that can't get into the space and utilize the space, then we're not doing our job in breaking down barriers, and in making it a space that's accessible for as many people as possible. Yeah. You know,
and that's one thing that's really, really unique about Chew Stick is that barriers are being broken down. You know, I had said this before, you know, to have a cross gender of people, you know, as far as race and
ethnicity, different creeds, different religions, all of that sort of thing. Yeah, I feel like
together.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, working at the Chew Stick Foundation has made me a bit more open-minded, and it's fortunate but unfortunate that we had to move from the Court Street location, because I think we put a lot of effort into, you know, upgrading the space. We put a lot of effort into destigmatizing the area and getting people to come through. But there's always those people that are going to be stubborn about trying to change their mind. So I feel like if we had been there longer, we might have been able to change a little bit more minds. But in the same vein, we had to put a lot of effort into getting people back there. So we couldn't put as much effort into just showcasing and getting people to come for the talent. So it was as much energy saying come to the area as it was saying this is a worthwhile show to come to.
And see,
So being on Front Street, it's higher visibility, it's a larger space. We're looking at an occupancy of about 100, whereas on Court Street it was 70. So you know, it's a bigger earning potential for the artists as well as for us, where people not only are coming there for in the intention of seeing a show, but on Front Street we also have accidental patrons, people who are walking by
and say, oh, let's go see,
hearing authentic live local culture and can't help but come in and support, and then, you know, be, I guess, converted into seeing that Bermuda does have a lot to offer in terms of creativity, entertainment, and the caliber of performance that we have.
And it's funny you say that, because a couple of weeks ago we had Matthew Johnston on the show, and he had read off this poem, you know, about his grandfather that was absolutely wonderful, and he's one of the young talents that are there that people can come by and check it out. Yeah, because I told him he'll having you on. I told
Okay,
him,
yeah. I think I gave you his number.
Yes, you did, as a matter of fact. And thank you. Thank you very much for that. Because, again, Chew Stick has such a great array of talent there, young talent, you know, that comes through, and older talent as well, that comes through.
Yeah, I feel like Bermuda needs a place for creatives to come together, and just people in general to come together and share ideas. And there's not a lot of investment, or I guess it's we're slowly working our way up to like a real, like, committed investment in our creative industry. So, you know, we're on Front Street, on Court Street, wherever we are, trying to strengthen our creative industry, and that's from, you know, empowering entertainers to market themselves, to figuring out that they can be entertainers. It's also giving people the hands-on experience of running a soundboard. What does a soundboard look like? You know, the first time you look at it, it's a lot of lights, it's knobs, it's buttons, it's cables, and it's like, it's overwhelming to just be there in front of it on your own. But we always try to you know, facilitate mentorships. If somebody wants to be a sound technician, you know, we'll try to connect them to somebody who's experienced in that field. If somebody wants to be a visual artist, you know, we're, especially now with the space, we have a lot more opportunity to serve the visual arts community. With Old Wall space, we want to have a gallery space on Front Street that's kind of an active gallery space where people are there experiencing performance art as well as seeing art on the walls. And the different mediums that go into it. So there's a couple of people who you know, are really into oil painting or really into airbrush art, and it's not only like we're not operating in a silo, so that we do work with Masterworks, BSOA, and that type of thing. If they're doing workshops and it's young people who want to take part, you know, we connect them with that. But then also it's the opportunity for them to show at Chew Stick, and we really, like, in breaking down the barriers, we also want to work with our, you know, our contemporaries and our like-minded organizations and organizations that are featuring different facets of what creativity is. You know, we're storytelling comprehensive, and storytelling is basically whatever medium a person wants to share themselves through. It's, you know,
yeah, you guys have an open the door policy. Not just an open door policy, but you can open the door to your heart.
Yeah,
you can help people, you know, point them in the right direction in regards to getting hooked up with different people that can raise them up, you know, or take them to another level, you know, and help them go forward. All right, because I teased Gavin before, and I'll tell you about that when he's talking about the Chew Stick movement. I mean, you guys have moved from one building to one building to one building to one, you know, in different areas and things like that.
That's the interesting thing, actually. Like, we were on Court Street for 5 years, and I think it broke a lot of people's heart for us to leave. But as we were thinking about it in the Chew Stick story, we've always been nomadic. Like Chew Stick.
Yeah, you've been in nomads, Yeah,
you know, it was the first and longest location it was our first, what we thought would be permanent location.
Yeah.
And it was the longest space we had been in. But Chew Stick, you know, started at Hillers and then was at like Champions for a while, and then Boots's for a little bit, and then we did an alternating summer
spinning wheel
and Level at the time. So we've had a nomadic existence, and I think in terms of like some of the lessons that I think the Chew Stick movement can teach, it's also the art of letting go. You know, like we had a really good run on Court Street, but we were outgrowing the space. Our landlord had other plans that he wanted to see, and I think a lot of the plans that he was thinking about was because of the vibrancy that we had brought to the area and to his building in particular.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the art of letting go. It's a better space. I mean, we're going to have different challenges, but in terms of the fact that we're going to be able to purpose build, like it was basically a wide open space, you know, and so the fact that we're going to have an opportunity to build the space that we feel like Bermuda's creative industry can properly utilize, it has all the resources, you know, from the studio to the gallery space to making it fully accessible, you know, to multiple stages. And you know, we have big dreams and big plans. We need community support. You know, like we're still in the midst of a capital campaign. We've had a few smaller scale events there, but it's all in the name of fundraising. It's all in the name of like we're investing in being of service to the community, and hopefully the community will invest in us, because we're here for the long term. And we want Bermuda's creatives, from producers to sound technicians to singers to drummers to guitarists, to all kind of come together and share with legends. So we want the legends to share and feel like they can learn from the novices.
Right.
So everybody has the opportunity to learn from everybody else, and there has to be a sharing. And I think a lot of what's missing in Bermuda is the opportunity to share, and I think the motivation to share. I feel like a lot of artists in Bermuda, as I work with True Stick, especially older generations, I think are kind of wounded.
Okay.
Where they have a story to tell, and they have artists are sensitive. I say it all the time. Artists are sensitive.
No.
People are sensitive. But it's only so much a person can take before they start kind of retreating. And so I feel like people who really, really it's in them to share their story. And it's only so much it's only so many times you can take rejection before you start feeling like and acting like nobody cares. And if nobody cares, then you stop sharing, or you stop trying to to grow that next generation. You don't want to subject the next person to what you've been through.
Okay.
And so I think what True Stick is trying to do is not only engage young people in finding what their voice is and their talent is, but to re-engage older generations in sharing what they have to offer and saying, we do love you, we do respect you, and we do understand and recognize that we have something to learn. We're kind of in this middle generation where we're just trying to connect.
Okay. So on that note, we'll be back. We're going to take a break right now. More with Miss Deidra about True Stick and what her role is within that organization. So we'll be back right after this.